Hi, I'm David Saville. I mentor coaches to create original signature programs that generate £96,000 or more per year by delivering superhuman results for their clients. Welcome to the Superhuman Life Coach Live. Containers. If you're a coach, you know this term. It's something you're taught very early on, that you must create a container with which you can work with a client to create transformation. There are containers online, there are containers for video, there are containers in workshops, there are containers in person in all different ways. Containers. The house is so full of containers if you're a coach. We live through containers. But why? What is a container, and why is the power of coaching exist within it? What's that whole thing? So one of the most important aspects, really, it can be boiled down to, is an agreement between two people, the coach and the potential client, or the client itself, because it's not always with the client, right? It might just be someone that you're considering working with. But the power, the ability to effect radical transformation lies within the kind of agreements that you create. Now, many of you, if you're experienced coach, you will have your different services that you offer. Now, one of the mistakes that many coaches make, thank you for the loves, by the way, many of the mistakes, Addi and Angie, welcome to the show. Many of the mistakes, is by selling packages of coaching. It's a huge mistake. It's like people come to you to receive some support, and what the coach does is go, well, if I can help you in a session, I'll sell you a set of 6 sessions. And that's how we'll work together, and we'll work on being more happy, more confident, maybe going for that interview and all this kind of stuff, right? But what that's doing, they may not realise what they're doing, is they're creating a very weak container. It's very fragile because there's no great purpose that you're supporting each other with. There's no real depth of connection required for that. It's better suited really to like packs of hypnotherapy or going to the gym, right? A gym membership. Maybe I'll buy 6 sessions with a personal trainer. Even then, actually, no, that's not true. It actually works for personal trainers too. It weakens you to have it in that way. What's the agreement there? What's the container being created? We're going to meet 6 times, and we're going to work on some stuff. It's weak. You're only ever going to create average results in that way. But the power of a container, when it's done right, means that you can create incredible results with no amount of time. In fact, some of the things I've done, I do it with my coaches regularly, actually. When we're training, we do like 5 to 10 minute sessions with each other. Sometimes those moments, something profound occurs. They're coaches, right? So they know what coaching is. They're doing a lot of work anyway. And yet in 5 or 10 minutes, because there's an agreement, a container created between coach and coachee, something can happen that's profound, that's life-changing, that by going away and doing something with what comes up in the session actually permanently changes that coach's life. That's what happens all the time. I remember a couple of years ago, actually, I did something on the street, an apprentice thing, where I took a bunch of coaches on the streets of London, and I got these signs printed, just on bits of A4 really, that just said life change in 5 minutes, or something along those lines. And people would just hold them up, go up to people on the street, and say to them, we're here to change lives. If you've got 5 minutes to spare, we'll do our best to see if we can get some life change happening for you. That kind of thing. Very informal, but they go on the streets. We had stuff happening. We had people like connecting and experiencing things just on the street. Someone just a passerby, right? The same thing, people go up and then try to get money off them. Charity muggers, they call them, right? They go up to people and they ignore them. But my coaches have gone up there and they've gone, I'm going to interrupt your day. I don't know what you're doing already. I'm going to change your life right now. Or the time we spend together, more accurately, is going to help you change your life. Are you up for that? That's what they did. And so the way that for the ones it worked with, the reason it worked is because they got the agreement from that person, and together they came to this to create something. And that's what the power of the container is. The power of the coaching is in the agreement with 2 people. It's very important. Addi, what you said, so much of my life has changed as a result of those 5 to 10 minute sessions, right? Right, exactly. And you've had them like almost weekly, right, for a while, and it just, they're continual. In fact, I remember I remember David was coaching you on one of those calls. I won't say the details of what happened, but there was a single word which he reflected to you during that session, because you've got that bond with each other. And that single word opened up many years of something for you. Do you remember that? And just the power of that moment for you was just awe-inspiring, really. And the way David created that with you was by bringing you into the contained environment where, even though we were watching, right, even though we turned off our cameras and sound, in that moment he created that environment with you that meant you knew he was there for you for 5 or 10 minutes, and within that you shared deeply, and then something happened. It's beautiful. It's incredibly beautiful. Obviously we see this all the time, don't we, in our sessions, and you obviously see it with your clients too. Now, the beauty of being aware just how important this is means that you get to create these containers anywhere, in any time whatsoever. One time, I remember this. I think this is when I began to discover it accidentally. When was this? This was 2014, right, beginning of the year. So I went a bit crazy on LinkedIn. I was messaging loads of people, getting loads of people telling me to get lost, but inviting people to my Change 100 Lives project was what I was reaching out for. Now, what happened during that is I had loads of people just not caring. Some people saying, don't waste my time, and other people going, okay, I'm interested. And so I began having this email exchange with someone. Actually, he was a tennis coach in the US. Now, what happened was that he was good at what he did, but he was seeing other people as much higher than him. So I began to just ask him some questions, really. But within this, it was only email exchange as well. But the container created was, look, I'm going to support you through email here, and I'm here for you. And he was agreeing to be here for me. He was sharing very vulnerably, because I'd created that agreement with him very early on in our interactions. Now, back then, remember, it was like 5 years ago, I did not really know what I was doing. I was kind of just doing it instinctively. But looking back, this is what happened. So because I created that agreement, that area of safety with him, we started to then explore and to share. And I was asking him questions about what he'd done, what was unique about what he'd done. Because he lacked education, he lacked certain things that these others had, right? There's certain certificates that others did have. But he had something else. He had like a raw ability within him. This man was incredible, really, and deeply caring for his family, wanted to do right by them as well, cared deeply for the students, the people that he taught. And so what I was doing, funny enough, is what I'm doing now with people when I extract out their what's unique about them. I was doing this with him. I was extracting what was unique about him, what he had done through his life. Now, the actual exchange was, I don't know, about 5 or 6 long emails is what it was, where he was sharing. I was then sort of reflecting some things back and asking some more questions. Now, I can't remember, I think I had a lot of conversations going on, and so I kind of just moved on, and I didn't complete it, is what I did. So he'd messaged me back, but I didn't see it. And then it was a few weeks later when I was going back through my messages and I saw what he'd shared. And I was like, because he had some beautiful insights about what is unique about him and what he could do. So I just messaged him and I said to him, hey man, how are you? What's from our conversation, what's happened? Has anything happened? Because I didn't know, right? I want to know what's actually changed. I don't want to just imagine it, right? It's meaningless. And he came back with, it blew me away. So much had changed. Not only was he beginning to see them as equals, actually, just different, right? Different levels of experience. He started to write this book that had been burning in his soul for many years. Just within a few weeks, right? A few email interactions. He started to write a book, changed how he felt about his services, increased his fees, in fact, started to change how he's working with people. And I remember actually checking in. I've checked in with him every now and then. And it was interesting from that case and from another moment when we had an interaction about a year later, he published his book. He's gone on to do many other things as well, where he's traveling the world, being this tennis coach, having tennis coaches go to him for advice. It's amazing to see what happened. But the reason it happened, or the reason that it was able to happen, was because we created this container between us, this agreement. I'm here for you. And it's a safe place where you can share anything, where I'm not going to judge you. And I'm here for you only. Right? The only reason we are speaking is because you and I are here, and I'm here to help you. Right? It's that kind of container, the agreement within. It's very important. So Actually, I wasn't going to share this, but I might as well think about this right now. Like, what are the essential elements that are very important when it comes to a container? Well, the first is you need to have that trust between you. So it needs to be exclusive, right? It's like anything you share with me is just between us unless you tell me that I can tell others, right? That's like a basic agreement. And then it's the only reason we're speaking is to make your life better. It's one way. So we're not here to have a chat. We're not here so I can share a bit about me, you can share a bit about you, like most conversations happen. I'm here for you. It's the only reason we're speaking right now. And so I'm going to give all of my attention to you as if no one else exists and nothing else exists. So that's going to be happening. Then there's the other agreement of like, the only reason for us to sort of speak to each other is if you're willing to be open and honest, you know, and really in a way that may challenge you. So you may feel uncomfortable. I may have to say things you don't like, but the only reason I would say them is because I care about you and I want you to succeed. And there's many other things too, but those are some essential elements that are required within any container. And so the beauty of this and the power of this means whether you meet someone on the street, whether you're having a message interaction, whether you're creating a longer program that you work with someone over time, which I strongly recommend for any coach. If you don't have your own program, you're really missing out on something amazing. Any of those, there's the overarching container of the work that you get to do. But make sure you don't dismiss the individual containers that you need within every interaction. So it's like in the beginning of a coaching relationship particularly, it is very important to set this straight, to lay the foundations for the agreement, for the container, so you can do some deep, profound, life-changing work. So you can create superhuman results with your clients. It's very cool. Thank you for being here. I'm going to be, as you can see, this is episode 1. There are going to be many more about this. I feel unleashed now that I get to bring the superhuman to the life coach and just be able to pour everything through this. So there's going to be a load more cool stuff coming. So check in, look out for the next Superhuman Life Coach Live. Now, if you're a coach who's ready, who's a good coach, so you've got experience already, and you do want to make £96,000 or more per year, if you send me a message, I will send you a PDF that I've created, which is a roadmap to 96K and beyond. So essentially I lay out the bones of how you can do this. So you can have the information. Obviously it's nowhere near what it would be if we were working together, but it'll help you take a step towards creating that for yourself. So if you're interested, send me a message through Facebook, or if you're watching this on LinkedIn, send me a message there, and I'll send that straight over to you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for the loves, by the way, and thank you for taking the time to listen. I look forward to seeing you on the next Superhuman Life Coach Live.